Hello everyone, my name is Catalyst. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you all are doing well. Today is a big day for Battlefield 2042. The 3.2 update, which contains the reworked class system, is now in the game, and a lot of players have been really hyped and excited for it. Has it lived up to the hype? We'll talk about it in the video today. Normally, for this video, I like to create a script and type out all my thoughts and make it organized, but I know a lot of people have been really anticipating this update, so I want to get this video out as soon as possible, so we're going to go off the cuff today. No script for this video, I just have a nice bit of notes here on my separate monitor that we're going to go through and talk about. I've got some thoughts on the update, but again, this is just my opinion. I want to know what you are thinking about the class update. Is it satisfying your need for classes in Battlefield? Is it changing the game as you know it? Are you enjoying yourself, or are you a little bit underwhelmed by it? We'll talk about it. If you end up enjoying this video, make sure that you leave a like on it. That greatly helps me in the algorithm, and do make sure to leave your opinion down in the comment section below. I've seen a wide variety of opinions, and I want to hear yours as well. I certainly have my opinion, so let's get into it. So, how does this game feel now that classes are in the game? Well, as always, it seems to be a bit of a mixed bag. There are some small things that this update really does improve on, but there are also some things in the game that feel the same, if not worse than before, and we'll get into that in a little bit. Do I think that this update did its job? Does this game feel like Battlefield? For some people, it will feel great, but for me, I haven't felt like there was that much of a change. It feels like Battlefield 2042 with classes, which I suppose is the point at the end of the day, but I think that's a good distinction to make. It feels like 2042 but with classes, instead of saying, oh, this game feels like Battlefield now. It's an asterisk that I think is a important distinction to make. For some people, I think you're really going to love this update, but I do think that for others, it's going to fall flat, because as much as this update changes things around, the few games that I played this morning felt exactly the same as my games the previous night. Now, maybe that's a me problem. Maybe I'm playing the game the same way as I've been playing it for over a year now, so of course it's going to feel the same. I think we're all going to need to wait for about a week or so to see if the game begins to play differently once players start getting out of their habits. One of the things I was particularly interested in with this update is if the classes would change the meta at all, in the sense that, would players play towards their preferred class, or would they play towards their favorite specialist? Because previously, you obviously could do whatever you wanted with whatever specialist, and I feel like the majority of the player base catered their classes around the specialist, minus some outliers. Like, obviously you couldn't use a rocket launcher on Liz because she already had one, and after a few games played this morning, I believe that players are still trending towards the specialist rather than the class. And this is where I feel like the class update hasn't really changed much. If you're an aggressive, sweaty player, you are still going to run McKay with a med pen. If you like to play more of a medic role, you are still going to play Falk, the same as you did before the update. If you're a defensive player, you're going to play Irish. If you like sniping, you're going to play Casper, and so on, and so on, and so on. And I think it would be fair to say that players are running the exact same specialists and loadouts as they were before. It's just on a more restricted scale in terms of what you can actually do because of how the classes are organized. That's a long-winded way of saying the most popular specialists haven't changed, and the lesser specialists like Crawford, Dozer, Boris, they've all been pushed aside even more, and I was hoping that there would be more variety with the class system, but nope, again, it's more the majority: McKay, Falk, Irish, Sundance, etc. So again, it's the distinction. It's the distinction that I talked about just a few minutes ago. This update change doesn't make 2042 feel like Battlefield. This change makes 2042 feel like 2042, but with classes attached to it. With that said, there were some instances where I was like, yeah, okay, that felt different. This is playing a little bit slower. It's more readable. It's more predictable. And maybe in a few days, I will feel that way more. Again, I think that if you're going to take something from this video with a grain of salt, beyond my opinion, of course, it's that we've been playing 2042 2042 in a specific way for over a year. This intends to be a big change. It takes a while for players to break habits, so even though I don't feel like this update has been world-shattering and has changed too much, there is still an element of wait and see. Now, I haven't really gone into how the class system works yet in the video because I'm assuming that most of you already know how it works, but just in case, I'm going to generalize for you all here. There are 4 classes with the 13 specialists in the game being divided into those classic Battlefield classes. All specialists keep their main ability. Some of the specialists have had their passive abilities swapped or changed to accommodate for this update. Each class gets 1 gadget from the gadget pool that they get no matter what, every single time. So Assault always has a med pen, the support class gets defibrillators, the engineers get the repair tool, and the recon gets the spawn beacon. In addition to that, each class can choose an additional gadget from a smaller pool of gadgets that are class specific. You also get to choose whatever grenade you want. In addition to that, there are also class proficiencies, which are passive butts. You also get class proficiencies, which are passive buffs that you get by playing each class with specific weapons. Assault class users get 3 extra magazines when using assault rifles, support gets faster ADS time with SMGs, engineers get accuracy with LMGs when prone or crouched, and recons can hold their breath instantly when scoped in, and that's essentially how the classes work. Now, while it's on my mind, the weapon proficiencies are something that I didn't feel like they made too much of an impact except in one specific instance, which I'll talk about in a second. I felt mostly that players just used what their favorite weapon was regardless of the class that they were playing, and this is another area in which I feel like the outcome of the change really didn't switch things up as much as DICE wanted it to. Now, just a list of pros and cons that I have written up here in my notes that I want to go through quickly before ending the video today. The assault proficiency is a nice buff to some of the vault weapons, specifically the assault rifles. Now they have more ammo with the 3 extra magazines that you get with the assault weapon proficiency, which is good because vault weapons don't have multiple ammo types. For me, this is such a needed buff that I wish they applied to vault weapons across the board, because one of the downsides to using vault weapons and why they're so weak compared to the all-out warfare weapons is that they run out of ammo too quickly, and with the assault proficiency, you get 3 extra magazines, and that makes these weapons so much more usable. McKay was supposed to get an nerf this update. DICE planned to nerf his move and strafe speed and raise the move and strafe speed of other specialists, but if I wasn't aware that this was happening, I wouldn't have noticed any changes at all when playing. The nerf is not really even noticeable, and I was really disappointed that the change wasn't as significant as I thought it was going to be, because I truly feel like this game would benefit so much if McKay was nerfed. I feel like the movement speed and grapple hook combo is too good to where I am at a distinct advantage, or disadvantage rather, if I'm not playing McKay. I would love to play other specialists. Hell, I wouldn't be as bored of the game if I didn't feel like I had to play McKay and I could play other specialists without feeling at a disadvantage. But McKay reigns supreme, I guess. I'm not advocating for a movement nerf, don't get me wrong. I just want McKay to be nerfed, and I want his strafe speed to be applied to other specialists so I don't feel like I'm at such a disadvantage in 1v1 gunfights. Along the same lines, I do think that the assault class needs more than 1 med pen. A lot of assault opinions on this video because I am primarily an assault and support player. Some people may disagree, but I would prefer having 2 med pens with slower regen speed like they were previously in the game than 1 med pen with the lightning quick regen speed that we have now. You just take too much indirect explosive and chip damage for 1 med pen to be enough, in my opinion. You know, you spawn in, you get hit by a few Zane airbursts, and then burn the med pen almost instantly, and then you've got basically nothing else. Not a fan of that. DICE decided to nerf drum mags and extended mags by completely butchering the ADS speed, and this is just a change I don't understand, and it's currently bugged on PC. You can double click your right click and completely bypass the change in its entirety, which is hysterical. About as hysterical as the fact that a 50-pound light machine gun is currently ADSing faster than the Glock 57 with its drum mag equipped. This is such a bad change. I understand they want to try and nerf drum mags, and I can get behind that, but the way that they went around, or went through it this time, went through with it, I just don't understand. One thing I do like about the class system is that it is enticing you to use gadgets that you normally wouldn't. Like for the assault class, when I was playing this morning, you'll notice it in the gameplay, I was using the smoke launcher, and it was a nice addition to my loadout. I hadn't used the smoke launcher a single time before today, but because I had to choose from a new gadget pool, I chose that and I enjoyed using it and it was useful. So I think that the classes do enable you to use other gadgets that weren't used beforehand, and I do like that. I will say that I also do like the breakaway rework. I think it's the best rework that they've done so far, but I found that map reworks are so subjective. Some people like them, some people hate them. I thought the manifest and renewal reworks practically did nothing. This one though, I thought was quite good, at least on the breakthrough layout. I do need to play some conquest before my opinion on that is final. There is this new stumble animation that is just god awful. I got it once during the gameplay where my camera just jerked down for no reason. I wasn't moving my mouse at all. Maybe I can find it and play it for you here. Maybe this is a bug. I don't know, but it felt like an animation. And a final point today, I think that this update has completely ruined vehicle versus infantry balance beyond repair, and this is something that I plan to make a separate video on that will come out tomorrow or the next day, because I think that this is becoming a real problem in the game, one of its primary issues in fact, and I was hoping that the class system would really help it, but DICE have made it objectively worse. I'll explain what I mean in the next video when I have some time to type out my thoughts, but that's the end of today's video, guys. What do you think of the update? Are you enjoying it? If I missed something in the video that you were hoping that I would talk about, if you have questions on, leave a comment. I'll try to reply to it. Make sure you follow me on Twitter and join my Discord. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and if you enjoyed it just that much, consider subscribing for more content. Thanks again for watching. My name is Catalyst, and I will see you all another time.